What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Omicron ability materials, or we're just going to shorten them to Omicrons. This is going to be for not only new players, but players who, like myself, have returned after hiatus. When I came back, or when I left, was really when Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and Rey came out as Galactic Legends. And when I came back, we just got Galactic Legend Leia Organa in the game, and at that point, Omicrons were something I had never seen before. So coming in, there was a lot of them. I kind of felt overwhelmed, and then as the months go on, we get more and more Omicrons. There's so many. If you're a new player, you probably look at Omicrons and just feel overwhelmed because there's just so many out there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of talk about how you get them, and some ideas for not only new players, but players who are coming back and trying to get back into the flow of things. We're going to talk about some good options for both of those types of players. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's dive into it. So what are ability material Omicrons? What are Omicrons? Omicrons are something that will give a drastic power increase to a character, but that is only for specific game modes. And in total, we have 6 game modes right now that get something from these Omicrons. We have 2 for PvP and Grand Arena and Territory Wars, and then we have 4 for PvE, which are Territory Battles, Galactic Challenges, Conquest, and your Raids. Now, of these 6 game modes, the one I'm going to say is the most important for anybody out there is going to be the Grand Arena, because not only, or really the reason you're going to want to focus on Grand Arena is because that's going to be your primary method of obtaining crystals. And crystals are your premium currency in this game. They're how you do energy refreshes. It's how you refresh your store shipments. If you want to really go buy character shards out of a store, they're like out of the normal shipment store, you're going to want to spend crystals. So crystals are pretty important. They're very important, especially for free to play. It's a premium currency for you. So you want to make sure that you're spending them properly. So that means that Grand Arena is probably going to be your main focus, because you want to be able to get that premium currency very easily. So if there's one game mode that really you want to focus most of your Omicrons on, that's going to be Grand Arena. And that's where, when we get into what your best Omicrons are for a new returning player, that's where we're going to start in, and that's where our main focus is going to be. It's going to be those Grand Arena Omicrons. Now, outside of that, you have Territory Wars, and this is really going to come down to the guild that you're in. For myself, the guild I'm in, we don't really care about Territory Wars. That hasn't stopped me from doing certain Territory War Omicrons just for fun, but if you're in a guild that doesn't really care about Territory War Omicrons, that's probably good, because then that means your guild's more focused on things like territory battles and raids, and that's going to mean you get better opportunities to invest in those and really build up your gear for your characters. Probably a better option for you. But ideally, in terms of what's going to be the most important, Grand Arena is going to be your most important. Territory War is usually secondary, and most of your PvE modes you really don't invest a lot into. There are a couple of niche cases that could be good, and we're going to talk about those as well. But in terms of how you get your ability material Omicrons, your main method is going to be through episode shipments and your episode pass. Your episode pass is going to be your monthly battle pass, or so I should say episode track. The episode pass is the premium currency, or the premium track for that. But you get 5 a week through your episode shipment. In total, you will get 20 a month, or 20 per 28 days, so basically 20 a month, and each ability upgrade is 20 materials. So you're going to get 1 Omicron a month through here, and in total, you only need to spend approximately, I'd say somewhere, what is it? I believe the math is that you only need to spend about 35,000 episode currency in total for your Omicrons for the month. And overall, you're going to get 41,000 through the episode track, through the free method of the episode track, doing your daily quest, doing your episode quest. You're going to get more than enough. And as long as you get to level 43 on the episode track, you're going to get the 4 free Omicrons from this. You get 1 at 43, you get 1 at 33, 1 at 23, and 1 at, you guessed it, 13. Now, if you do want to spend on the premium pass, which is only 20 bucks, which is pretty much the best value in the game right now, you can get an additional 8 Omicrons through the episode pass, that's great. That's cool. It means you're gonna get closer to 2 Omicrons a month if you do spend that 20 bucks. Again, if you're free to play, not gonna be an option, But if you are looking to spend just a little bit of money, this is going to be your best option for that. And you also get a lot of gear, and you get close to 2 Omicrons a month through that episode pass. So really good value there. That's going to be your main method for getting those Omicrons. You can also see here in the description, it tells you other places, the Conquests, which are every month. You get episode shipments, which we're looking at now. Legend token shipments, which you're not going to worry about because you only get those through having Galactic Legends, and also through 3 Cantina battles, which you'll use to farm up your relic materials down the road. You can see you get them, but do not rely on these to be a reliable way to get your Omicrons, because I think it's on average like 1,000 to 2,000 Cantina energy will get you 1 ability material Omicron. So do not rely on these as a reliable way of getting your Omicrons. You want to focus on the episode track, the episode shipments. Now we've talked about how to get them, let's talk about what's the best way to spend them on. And like we already mentioned, Grand Arena is probably going to be your primary focus because of crystals. And if you are a new player, one that is going to work really, really well for you is going to be this Wampa Omicron on Cornered Beast. Now, this works even at low gear levels. You're going to get him pretty quickly on. You can farm him easily with guild event tokens. You can also buy him from the guild store if you want to. If you want to spend on the Hoth Journey bundle, you can. Don't recommend it. He's easy to farm. His Cornered Beast Omicron here means that this turns into a one-man army, like one beast army. You put Wampa on his own on offense, and he is going to shred a lot of teams. As you move up the tiers of Grand Arena, once you're up into like a Rhodium, that's where you really start to see him fall off. Once you get up to Kyber, you don't see him a lot. At that point, there's a lot of teams out there that have like Daze or Tenacity down that really counter Wampa, Wampa just doesn't really work at that level. There's better teams than Wampa. But as an early player, Wampa on his own, soloing teams on offense, really, really good. Another one that you can get both offense and defensive power out of is going to be Savage Press. And this is one, again, very easy to farm. Get him in Squad Arena Storm, very easy farm in general. 10 shards for 400 currency, not going to take long at all to farm him up. Eventually, you're going to build him up for another Sith team, which we'll mention here in a moment. But his Brute Omicron gives him a lot of stacking defense and offense, some healing. This really makes him a strong person on his own for offense. You can throw him on a defensive team and can be an absolute nightmare for someone if they don't have a way to get healing immunity on him. He is just going to constantly heal up. And yeah, he is a pain in the butt to kill on defense if you don't have the proper counter for him. So you can put him on defense, get a really strong defensive team with his Omicron, or you can put him on offense and really kind of wreck some teams early on. This is a really good Omicron to have. It's one that, even up in Kyber, you still see this, especially paired with Darth Treya, which is another one down the road. You get the guild store tokens through raids. You can buy Treya. You can also get her through the Sith Triumvirate raid if you want to go for that, but usually we're kind of focusing on the raids at that point. But yeah, very easy to get Treya, even if you're not doing the Sith Triumvirate raid. And her Lord of Betrayal Omicron, this combined with the Savage Press Omicron, this is something you'll still see up into Kyber. This is a very strong defensive team. Now, they are starting to get a little bit power crept. Not as often you see them up there, but they're still a force to be reckoned with. They have very strong counters for offense. They take some pretty strong teams to defeat on defense as well. So this is one that, yeah, as you're really building up your Grand Arena team, Savage Press plus Treya, really good options there with both of those. Another one that I do want to give a quick shout out to is going to be Phoenix with Captain Rex. Your Phoenix team is actually a really good beginner team. We can talk about that later in another video in terms of what are good beginner teams to work on. Phoenix is very, very good in that regard. And this Lost Commander Omicron with Rex, it has both a 5v5 and 3v3 mode for Omicrons. 5v5 for Phoenix, and once you go down to 3v3 where Phoenix aren't as strong, now you can pair him with Clone Troopers, and you're going to have Clone Troopers that you're going to work on for other teams in the future. But Rex with like a normal Rex lead, and you throw another character in, and there's a lot of healing going on with this team. They get a lot of speed, they get a lot of max health and crit damage, and inflicting a lot of armor shred. So yeah, Rex both for Grand Arena and for 3v3 and 5v5 Grand Arena, going to be very strong. The 5v5 version is not as strong as the 3v3 version, but you're going to get usefulness out of both of them. The Phoenix team is very strong, especially with Captain Rex being there. Another really, really good option for you as a newer player for Grand Arena. And one other one I want to give a shout out here to is going to be Qui-Gon Jinn with his leadership Omicron. Jedi are a broad faction in general, and the Qui-Gon Jinn one, you get some really strong power out of the gate with it, and it's one that you're going to get some great returns on for a very long time, especially when paired with Jedi Knight Anakin, which we're going to look at here in a second. But with this Omicron, you're getting a lot of speed and offense to your Jedi characters, and then once he is defeated, all Jedi are healed up, and they also gain 400% of Qui-Gon Jinn's offense for 2 turns, which then translates over to Jedi Knight Anakin, which is a very easy farm, one of the first dark side hard nodes you can get in the game. Really easy to farm him, and his AoE ability can just one-shot entire teams with that Omicron once it's activated. Now, Jedi are also, like you see, broad things here. You also get a couple other Jedi at the beginning of the game, like Guardian and Consular. They're Galactic Republic Jedi as well, and that's what you want to focus on for Qui-Gon Jinn. But ideally, what you want to focus on is get a Jedi team built up that allows you to pursue the Grandmaster Yoda Legendary event. This is another strong Galactic Legend event, or Galactic Republic, not Galactic Legend, Galactic Republic character who you're going to put in with Qui-Gon Jinn until you get some of your Galactic Legends in the future, like Jedi Master Luke, very good with Yoda, but Grandmaster Yoda with Anakin under that Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron lead in 5v5 or 3v3, going to be very, very good. So that is another Omicron I just wanted to give a quick shout out to for Grand Arena. This is one you're going to get a long life out of this one. This is one that I'll still use in Erodium from time to time based on what I'm facing with that beefed up Anakin attack with the AoE. It's nasty. Just watch him just wipe out entire teams at once. So those are some good Grand Arena Omicrons. Let's talk about Territory Wars. Territory Wars is a little bit trickier. We're going to give a quick shout out to Phoenix with Harrison Dula's lead Omicron. This one's pretty good. They get bonus speed, they get bonus counter chance, bonus max health, and then all Phoenix allies get backup plan, which means they can revive. She also gets bonus turn meter, and whenever Phoenix ally uses a special ability, they gain stacking offense. So this works without Captain Rex, but once Captain Rex is on the team, and keep in mind that Captain Rex's Omicron's for Grand Arena, this is for Territory Wars. The Hera Territory War Omicron with Phoenix can make them a real nasty threat on defense, and also a strong powerhouse on offense too. And again, this is going to be a team you're probably going to be focusing on as a beginner player because they're rebels. They get a lot of synergy. You can use them to farm up Emperor Palpatine. You can use them to unlock Grand Admiral Thrawn. You can also use them to get Chimera, which is the legendary Star Destroyer for Grand Admiral Thrawn. So yeah, Phoenix is a great team to be building up as a new player anyways because of how many characters you can unlock with this team, but also you get a lot of use out of them in multiple game modes, especially with those Omicrons. So that's one I wanted to give a shout out to for Territory Wars. Another one I want to give a quick shout out to for Territory Wars is going to be your Geonosians with the Poggle the Lesser Omicron. You can get some pretty good usefulness out of your Geonosians if you're focusing on the Geonosis territory battle. You're going to use Geonosians in there for battles anyways. You have Separatist battles in there, but there's also specific battles that require Geonosians. But also, this is going to be a quick, easy team to get Padme Amidala unlocked, which you're going to use for future events for Galactic Legends for, I believe, Lord Vader. You also use it to get General Skywalker, who's also used for Lord Vader. So, use this to get Padme unlocked, but also you get this Territory War Omicron with this, and this is another strong defensive team. I've actually seen this still on defense. We'll have whole sectors of Poggle the Lesser Omicron Geonosians just sitting there in a whole sector, and this is one that's gonna take some counters to get through because it makes them quite a bit stronger. So this is another good option for you early on. You're building up Geonosians anyways for territory battles and some legendary unlocks. You get this Omicron on them, now you got some power for them for Territory Wars. Those are PvP options. Let's talk PvE, and the PvE is a little bit trickier. because there is some real power creep in terms of, not necessarily power creep, but the power and viability of Omicrons, especially for certain game modes, can fall off real quickly. Let's start by talking about galactic challenges. There's only one galactic challenge Omicron we have in the game right now, and that is with Gungan Phalanx. And the problem with this, and why you are never, ever going to invest in this Omicron, this is one of the worst Omicrons to ever invest in, is galactic challenges. If all the challenges do not require Gungans to max out, this Omicron falls off drastically. What they did when they first gave us this team with this Omicron is we got 2 months of nothing but Gungan. There were a couple other challenges in there that didn't require Gungans, but the majority of them required Gungans. At that point, there was some viability to this Omicron, but as soon as we stopped getting the galactic challenges that required Gungans, well, this kind of fell off. And also, galactic challenges aren't as important now because of the way the episode track works, with the episode quest, the episode, the missions, the daily quests. Galactic challenges are not as important anymore. So not only do we get rid of the Gungan challenges, but then challenges kind of became less important because of how the episode track and the episode pass works. So this is I would say this is the worst Omicron you can invest in the game, because the amount of times we have had to use it since they stopped spamming the Gungan galactic challenges, I think we've had 1, maybe 2 since then. So we've gone a whole year without a lot of Gungan exclusive galactic challenges. So this is one that, yeah, without the challenges there, that one is an Omicron that just falls apart. Let's also talk about raids. This is another one that I do not recommend building up. There are 3 Omicron raids, or 3 raid Omicrons right now. We have Bombardier with the Naboo raid. We have Bausch Leia with the Crate Dragon raid. And we have Scout Trooper with the Endor raid. The big issue is that these Omicrons fall off in power very quickly. Once you move on to the next raid, the Omicrons pretty much are useless because you can't use them in the other battles. Bausch Leia you can't use in the Endor raid or the Naboo raid. You can't use the Scout Trooper raid and Scout Trooper in the other 2 raids, and same with Bombardier. You can't use Gungans in the Endor or the Crate Dragon raid. So once you move on to the new raid, that old Omicron falls off. So it becomes useless at that point. So you're basically buying borrowed power for a short amount of time. And that's not what you really want to go for with Omicrons. You want to have something that you really want to invest in that's going to get you a long investment or long return on investment for it. And raid Omicrons, just like Galactic Challenge Omicrons, really don't bring that for you. So I would skip your raid Omicrons. The other one I do want to talk about is going to be Conquest before we get into territory battles, because there's an argument to be had for territory battles. Conquest is a little trickier. If you are a new player, I can see the argument for Conquest. There's 2 Conquest Omicrons. You have Padawan Obi-Wan and you have Shorty, the droid. It's 50R-T, but we call her Shorty. Yeah, this Conquest Omicron for her is really, really bad because it requires the droids, and there's not a lot of droid feats for Conquest. The Galactic Republic, or the Padawan Obi-Wan one with his Omicron, is quite a bit more useful. I can see an argument for where you're going to use this, especially as a new player, where Conquest require feats, like you have to apply a debuff a certain number of times. You have to apply a buff a certain number of times. And if you are a newer player with a slimmer roster who don't have a lot of characters who can apply those buffs and debuffs, this Conquest Omicron can be quite useful. Because when you look at it, whenever he uses a special ability, he inflicts all these debuffs on the target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. And then he applies all the buffs to himself and his allies for 2 turns. So he's giving all those buffs to his team, he's giving all the debuffs to the enemy team. So you can get some strong completion with feats for this, but once your roster gets pretty wide and you have a lot of characters who can apply those debuffs, this Conquest Omicron falls off in power. So if you're a new player and you're kind of trying to focus on just a certain number of teams and trying to build up certain things, there's a little bit of power to this, but for the most part, this is another one that you probably can skip, but I can see the justification investing this if you really want to focus on those Conquest characters. And that's not to even mention how Conquest characters these days, especially as a new player, you're going to get them and then you're going to take a long time to invest them anyways, because most of them, they're kind of, the sun set on them, they're not as good, or they're for like Galactic Legends, which you're not going to be investing in anytime soon as a new player. Finally, let's talk territory battles. There's a couple of territory battle Omicrons that are solid. We have, for instance, let's see, Rebel Officer Leia Organa. Her lead is okay for territory battles. Like, this one's for Rebels, but at this point, you've got better Rebel leads. Leia Organa, if you get her as a Galactic Legend, pretty much negates the need for Rebel Officer Leia Organa's Omicron lead at that point, because she just wipes the floor with Rebel allies against the combat missions inside of there. Another one as well is going to be Resistance. If there was Resistance-specific combat missions, I could see this Omicron being better, but there really aren't. So there's no real point in focusing on this Omicron for Resistance characters. Yeah, there's a couple that are decent, but you're not going to get a lot out of them. So as a new player, returning player, not ones you really want to focus on, but I know there's going to be curiosity in terms of territory battle Omicrons. The only ones that I can really recommend, and that is just going to be getting from Giant Knight Cal Kestis, which is a legendary that you can get pretty cheaply. He only needs 4 characters like Gear 12, and I did the event without any Zetas on them. That is going to be Giant Knight Cal Kestis' leader ability, because you can see up here like Jedi allies gain counter chance, defense, and offense, but his Omicron lead for territory battles does not have the restriction. So what you can take with Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, we're just going to call him Jedi Cal. What you can do with Jedi Cal is take him into a battle as the lead and throw 4 other random characters in with him, and the Omicron lead applies to all of them. They all get bonus max health and protection. They get 300% of Cal Kestis' defense. They get turn meter. They get frenzy. Defeated enemies can't be revived. So this is huge, and this also kind of ties into his Impetuous Assault, which this is one I have not built yet. I probably won't, but you know, his Impetuous Assault, which is like an instant kill ability, it keeps those stacks across waves. The only other TB Omi that I've gotten is a Whirlwind Slam, and this is just because it makes the Zepho special mission a little bit easier for him under that Seer Jundo lead, who is one of the characters you build up anyways to get Jedi Cal, but this is one like way down the road. You're not going to worry about this as a new player or as a returning player really for a while. You want to kind of build up teams first before you start focusing on the Zepho special mission, but this is one that you can get some pretty solid useful use out of too, because it gives armor strength to the team. It's just really solid TB Omi as well. Those are really the only two. Really, the lead for Jedi Cal is the only one I recommend in terms of territory battles. We do have to keep an eye on a couple more that are coming out. Like, for instance, we have Wrecker Mercenaries, Bad Batch, Omicron here in territory battles, which looks good on paper, but there's no Bad Batch exclusive missions, so there's no real need for that. There's also going to be, with Lord Vader, we got our first Darkside Clone Trooper just revealed, and he also has a territory battle Omicron, but again, there's no like exclusive combat missions for this character in there. So this is one where you're really not going to get a lot of use out of this, because right now there's just no need for it. You have a lot of utility with Jedi Cal's leadership ability that allows him to bring in a lot of teams, but this one requires him to, like for Apo, requires him to be like in, not necessarily in a Lord Vader 501st team, but one that's, you know, he's a little more niche. So that's where I'm kind of falling on territory battles. Jedi Cal lead, and then maybe Whirlwind Slam down the road if you need to focus on that. That's really going to do it for me here. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys have questions about Omicrons? Anything you guys think I missed, or something you think differently with Omicrons? Let me know down below. As again, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure that like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys next time.